Veterinary microbiology. Coaster stain is used for Brucella species. Fungal cell wall does not contain muramic acid. Antigen binding site on an antigen binds on antibody by both heavy and light chains. Germinal center of lymph node mainly contains B cells. In late fetal life, which are the organs of hematopoiesis, liver and spleen, which antibody is present in maximum concentration in milk, immunoglobulin A, which antibody is present during allergic reaction, immunoglobulin E. Pearl eye is associated with Marek's disease. Substance added to enhance the immunity by using inactivated microbes is adjuvant. Exotoxins are mainly secreted by gram-positive bacteria. Lychee disease is also known as Angara disease. Russell body is present in plasma cell. Humoral immunity is associated with B lymphocytes, which one is known as scavenger cells. Scavenger cells are the other name of macrophages. Mycolic acid is present in cell wall of Mycobacterium species. And 16 is lumpy jaw is caused by actinomycosis bovis. 17 is protein which is specific for viral infection is interferon. Strangles in horse is caused by streptococcus. Animal reproduction, in which animal pre-ovulatory luteinization of ova is noticed, in which bimanual pregnancy diagnosis mainly used for sheep and goat. Amniotic vesicles can be palpated for pregnancy diagnosis in cattle on 32 to 35 days. Uterine inertia can be treated by clenbuterone, clenbuterone. Example for induced ovulator is camel. Breech presentation is posterior presentation with flexed hind limbs. Stillbirth means expulsion of dead fetus after full-term pregnancy. Accumulation of pus in uterus is called as pyometra. Expulsion of placenta comes under which stage of pregnancy? Third stage of pregnancy. Uterus involution means recovering the shape of uterus after parturition. Fetus recovered with meconium time of parturition indicate struggling due to hypoxia. Which polar body is released during ovulation in cattle? One polar body or first polar body. Veterinary pathology. Disease in which it is not advised to open carcass for postmortem examination is anthrax. Fistulous tract can be defined as two openings connected by endothelial lining. Death of cell in living tissue is known as necrosis. Death of cell in living tissue is known as necrosis. Periventricular hemorrhage is pathognomic sign of a disease. Periventricular hemorrhage is pathognomic sign of Newcastle disease. It is the petechial hemorrhage, not periventricular hemorrhage. Petechial hemorrhage is pathognomic sign of Newcastle disease. Sore teat is ulcerative mammalitis. On postmortem of deer died due to tuberculosis will reveal swollen lymph nodes. Inclusion body in rabies is Negri bodies. Inflammation of fallopian tube is salpingitis. Lymphoma is a type of tumor. Lymphoma is benign type of tumor. And corrugation of intestine is noticed in jaundice disease. Reduction in size of the organ after attaining full maturity is squamous cell carcinoma. Jacob ulcer is also known as atrophy. Jacob ulcer is also known as atrophy due to blood circulation, which part of nephron will affect first by amyloidosis glomerulus. Inflammation of rectum is known as proctitis. Proctitis. Proctitis is the inflammation of rectum. Inflammation of subcut tissue is cellulitis. Veterinary surgery and radiology. Lambert pattern suture is used in hollow organs. Complication of pyloric stenosis is hypertrophy of gastric mucosa. Longest bone of hind limb is femur, by reduction which fracture can be healed easily. Long bone oblique fracture. Unit of measurement for energy of X-ray is EV. Perennial urethrotomy is indicated in posterior obstruction in os penis. Anesthesia used in reptiles is ketamine. Ketamine is used as anesthesia in reptiles. Condition in which scrotal ablation is advised is neoplasm. Removal of both ovaries and uterus is ovariohysterectomy. Cryosurgery is done by using liquid nitrogen. Common absorbable suture material used in surgery is catgut. Esophagectomy means cutting a segment of esophagus. Veterinary anatomy and veterinary physiology. Unpaired cartilage in larynx is epiglottis. A short and large projection arises from cell body of neuron is dendron and axon, which is specialized connective tissue, blood and cartilage. Which base pair is absent in DNA? Uracil. Renal pelvis is absent in ox. Collagen II is present in cartilage. Lymph node is absent in chicken. Nucleated red blood cell is seen in poultry. Heparin acts on which clotting factor? Factor 2, 7 and 9. And 10 is lifespan of red blood cell in dog is 100 to 120 days. Which one is exocrine gland? Sweat gland. Sertoli cell secretes testosterone. Serum does not contain fibrinogen. Organelle known as suicidal bag is lysosome. Lysosome is the suicidal bag. Maximum water absorption occur at which part of intestine? Large intestine. Veterinary parasitology. Neospora canium is parasite of dog. Neospora canium is the parasite of dog. Which of the following is not a hemoprotozoan? Fasciola is not a hemoprotozoan, whereas Anaplasma thalaria and Babesia are the hemoprotozoan. Traumatic hepatitis in sheep is caused by Fasciola hepatica. Barrel-shaped egg with plugs at both ends is found in Trichuris species. And which is the heartworm of dog? Dirofilaria immitis. The causative agent of cecal coccidiosis is Emeria tinella. Intermediate host of Dipladium canium is flea. Intermediate host for Prosthogonymous species are nymphs of dragonfly. Hemoglobinuria in cattle is caused by Babesia bigemina. Parasite which causes tumor condition in dogs is Spirocirca lupi or lupi. 11. Drug of choice for theileriosis is Buparva cone. Which of the following has direct life cycle ascarids? Infective stage of schistosomiasis is cercari. pH of saliva is 8.1 to 8.5, slightly basic. Which is not protease? Tyline is not a protease. Trypsinogen converted into trypsin in the presence of none of above. Testosterone is secreted by testes. Spermatogenesis takes place in testes. Myosin is contractile protein along with actin and myosin, out of which is posterior pituitary hormone. Oxytocin is a posteriorly pituitary hormone. Water regulating hormone is antidiuretic hormone. Goat meat is known as chivon. Young one of goat is known as kid, which is not buffalo breed. Nagori is not buffalo breed. Subabul contain which antinutritional substance? Mimosin. Mimosin is present in subabul. Normal air exchange in and out of lung is known as tidal volume. Epistasis is intra-allelic interaction. Sudden heritable change is mutation. Mutation is the sudden heritable change. Egg white injury is prevented by biotin. Ranikhet is a disease of poultry. Polyneuritis is due to deficiency of vitamin B1. Sealer disease is due to deficiency of vitamin C. Pirrosis is due to deficiency of manganese and choline. Bacillus anthracis causes anthrax. Jones disease is caused by Mycobacterium paratuberculosis, which is zoonotic disease. Brucellosis. Closely related matings is inbreeding. Home tract of Nili Ravi is Punjab. Who discovered the tubercle bacilli? Robert Koch discovered the tubercle bacilli. Discovery of virus is done by Ivanovsky. First virus studied in history is FMD virus. Picorna virus, the smallest virus. It was the firstly studied virus in history. Who discovered the electron microscope? Knoll and Ruska. Knoll and Ruska discovered the electron microscope. The term vaccine is given by Pasteur, who was the first scientific immunization. Jenner introduced the immunization. The term phagocytosis was given by Mechnikov. Selective media for streptococcus is Edwards media. Which one is the gram-negative Coccobacilli bacteria? Brucella. Brucella is the gram-negative Coccobacilli bacteria, and streptococcus is grown in Edwards media. Polymerase chain reaction was discovered by Carey Mullis discovered PCR or polymerase chain reaction. Inclusion body situated in cytoplasm is pox virus. DNA viruses makes the inclusion bodies in nucleus, and RNA viruses makes inclusion bodies in the cytoplasm. As pox virus is DNA virus, so inclusion body it is vice versa. Inclusion body in cytoplasm is by pox virus. Inclusion body situated in nucleus is by herpes virus. Basophilic inclusion body is in pox virus. Interferons are family of which of the following? Glycoproteins. Interferons are glycoproteins, and basophilic inclusion body is in pox virus. Herpes virus has inclusion body in nucleus. Interferon is produced by a host cell. Which is delayed type hypersensitivity? Type 4 is the delayed type hypersensitivity. Blue pigment pyocyanin is produced by Pseudomonas. Most commonly used test for Pseudomonas is Maline test. Salmon poisoning in dog is caused by Neorickettsia. Which of the following test is used for diagnosis of brucella? All are used for diagnosis of brucella. Chemical barrier of body are all, as gastric juices, beta lysine and nectin. The property of stem cells are both as they are pluripotent and self-renewing. Primary lymphoid organs are both A and C as thymus and bone marrow. Cells which are responsible for cell-mediated immune response are T cells. T cells which play a role in graft rejection are T memory cells. Marker which bind with sheep red blood cells and form rosette are CD2. T cells which passes one of the two markers CD4 or CD8 are mature T cells. Mature T cells are the T cells which possesses one of the two markers as CD4 or CD8. CD means cluster of differentiation. T helper 2 activating B cells in presence of all of above. Interleukin 456. Hepton, also called as the partial antigen. Another name of partial antigen is the hepton. Who discovered the ABO blood group system? Landsteiner. Which hormone is not having negative feedback control? Thyroid stimulating hormone do not have negative feedback control. What is the correct for dehydrated dog? Pack cell volume of 40% or more than that of 40% means that the dog is dehydrated. More the pack cell volume means that the more are the number of red blood cells, or they are occupying more space in the capillary tube, and less the volume is of the serum and clotting proteins. So less the serum, less the water, less the serum, more the PCV, and more the dehydrated the animal is. A fertile bull serum must have spermatozoa concentration of 150 million per ml, or 150 million or 1500 lakh or 150 million per ml is the concentration of sperm in the fertile bull semen. Adventitious bacteria are natural inhabitants of water. Inflammation of spermatic cord is known as cryptorchid, and the inability of the spermatic cord or the testes to descend is known as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism is the condition in which the testes, one or both testes, are failed to descend down from the spermatic cord. Example of ligase, DNA ligase, name indicate DNA ligase is an example of ligases. Preputial prolapse is common in Jersey. Jersey cattle is famous for having very much prevalence or incidence of preputial prolapse. Prepuce is prolapsed. What is the ideal caloric protein ratio for starter chick ration? Calorie and protein 155 and 1. So we can find out that what is the ideal or a real feed concentration of calorie and protein. On average, the protein concentration in chick ration is 20%. So 155 multiplied by 10, 1550, and 1 multiplied by 10, it will be 10 and 1550. 10 is the protein, 1550 is the calorie. Multiply both with 2, 10 multiplied by 2 20, and 1550 multiplied by 2 it will be 30. It means that approximately 3000 are the calories for the ideal or the average chick ration, and 20 is the protein ratio for chick ration. 20 ratio 3000. Rhode Island Red is breed of America. RIR is the breed of America. Cotton seed cake has anti-nutritional factor as gossypol. Cotton seed cake has gossypol, and there are phytoestrogens. They are in berseem. They cause the abortion. Indian feeding standards are based on net energy system NE system. Main source of airborne contamination in dairy plant is ventilation system. Ventilation system is the main source of airborne contamination in dairy plant. Veal refers to meat of calf. This option is wrong. A is not the right option. Right option is C, meat of calf. Veal refers to meat of calf. Mussel, and it is preferred over the Arabian countries. Arabian peoples prefer to eat the veal or the meat of calf. Muscle weakness and hyaline degeneration of skeletal muscles without being associated with inflammation is called myositis. Myositis means that there is the degeneration of skeletal muscles and there is no inflammation. Non-inflamed degenerated skeletal muscles is myositis, and myopathy will be if there is inflammation and there is the pathology in skeletal muscles or the degeneration in skeletal muscles. How many ancestors will be there 5 generations back? There will be 32 ancestors after 5 generations. Which trematode parasite is hermaphrodite? Echinostoma. Echinostoma is a hermaphrodite. It means that a single parasite is both male and female at a time. Bisexual hermaphrodite. Parakeratosis in swine is due to deficiency of swine means pigs. Parakeratosis in pigs is due to deficiency of zinc. In keratosis is linked with hairs, and you know that zinc has very importance in hair growth. A new breed can be evolved by crossbreeding. Breeding between different breeds may evolve a new breed, so it will be called as crossbreeding. For better shelf life, the cured meat and meat product should be vacuum packaged. For better shelf life, every food or every edible product should be vacuum packaged for better shelf life. It is not limited to cured meat or the meat product. Every food product is stored for better shelf life as vacuum packaged. Pica in cows is due to deficiency of phosphorus. Pica in cows is due to deficiency of phosphorus. The anthracic factor is vitamin D. Vitamin D is the anthracic factor. The basic intention of food regulation is to prevent fraud and protect public health. Both are the intentions for the food regulators, to prevent fraud and to prevent public health. The piglet anemia is due to deficiency of iron. Iron causes the piglet anemia. What is associated with water diarrhea in human? Water diarrhea in humans is by enteropathogenic E. coli, EP E. coli. Enteropathogenic E. coli causes the water diarrhea. Chilling of milk is done at 4 degrees centigrade. Milk is chilled at 4 degrees centigrade. Excess of molybdenum in diet causes deficiency of copper. More the molybdenum, less is the copper, so there should be a ratio between the molybdenum and copper, so that the excess of molybdenum cannot decreases the concentration of copper. Major constituent of egg albumin is protein. Egg albumin is protein, and egg yellow is the lipids, or we can say lipids. Lipids are in egg yellow color of egg has the lipids, and the white color of the egg or the has white color of egg has the protein, and it's the egg major constituent of albumin. Albumin name indicate that albumin is a protein. Hormone for lactogenesis is prolactin. Prolactin causes the lactogenesis. Which of the following does not have any social taboo? Chicken meat does not have any social taboo. Horse, pig, and bovine has the social taboo, as horses are not being eaten by the Muslims, bovines are not being eaten by, or they are hated by the Hindu. Hindu do not eat any meat, but especially they hate to eat the bovine meat, and pig meat is also not being are not liked, or it is haram in Muslims. Pig is haram in Islam, horse is makruh in Islam, and bovine's meat is haram in Hinduism, especially bovine meat is, and chicken meat has no taboo. Every religion eat the chicken meat if they eat the meat. Which method of milking should be avoided? Knuckling or thumb milking should be avoided. The vitamin which helps in coagulation of blood is vitamin K. Vitamin K is the clotting, is famous for coagulation of blood or blood clotting. Standard fat percentage in double toned milk is 1.5. 1.5 is the standard fat percentage in milk, in double toned milk. What is glandular part of stomach in fowl? Proventriculus. Proventriculus is the glandular part of stomach in proventriculus. Gizzard is the grinding part of stomach of the fowl or birds. Curled toe paralysis in chickens is due to deficiency of riboflavin. Riboflavin deficiency causes the curled toe paralysis. Grass tetany in cattle is due to deficiency of magnesium. Magnesium deficiency causes the grass tetany. Calcium deficiency causes the milk fever. Bacteriological status of milk is judged by MBR, methylene blue reduction test. Methylene blue reduction test detects the bacteriological status of milk or the milk quality. Milk quality is judged by methylene blue reduction test. The deficiency of manganese in poultry causes cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is by the deficiency of manganese, and the deficiency of riboflavin causes curled toe paralysis. Streptococcus is an example of emphysimosis. Streptococcus is an example of emphysimosis in urinary bladder. There are how many ligaments? 4 ligaments are in urinary bladder, which is liver fluke, Dicrocilium dendriticum. Dicrocilium dendriticum is a liver fluke. GID in goat is caused by Coenoscleroscrebus. COENO, I do not pronunciate it. Coenoscrebus is causes the GID in goat, and SARA is caused by Trypanosoma evensi. Trypanosoma evensi causes SARA. Bone-legged tick ID is Hyloma. Hyloma is bone-legged tick. Bone-legged tick identification is of Hyloma. Mite examination is done by skin examination. Skin scraping processing will lead us to identify the mite if it is present in the animal. Antagonism of aldosterone is spironolactone. Antagonist of aldosterone is spironolactone. First, demonstrate in viral infection interferon. Interferon are antivirals. So first demonstrate in viral infection is interferon. Wind sucking vice common in horse. Wind sucking vice is common in horse. Prolactin is glycoprotein. Prolactin is glycoprotein. pH of water is 6.8, 6.5 to 8.5, slightly acidic to slightly alkaline. Strongylus vulgaris is controlled by all. Strongylus vulgaris can be controlled by ivermectin. It can control by sulfadimidine and oxytetracycline. Which volatile fatty acid is responsible for milk fat synthesis in cow? Acetic acid. Vitamin which help in coagulation of blood is vitamin K. Major amount of urea formation take place in liver. Urea can be fed as source of nitrogen to ruminants as cow buffalo. Alkali disease is caused due to toxicity of selenium. Drug of choice for treatment of theileriosis is buparvacon. In which organ lymphocytes do not take place? Spleen. In which host parasite is sexually mature? Definitive host. Lip tack test is used for diagnosis of omasal infection. Horty's test is used for mastitis. Clay pipe stem liver is observed in fasciolaceous. Stingray or stele wool in shape results due to deficiency of copper. Dipase is phenomenon observed in strongyles. Sodium thiosulfate is used in cyanide poisoning. Reason of Wegener disease is selenium toxicity. In lead poisoning, what is used? Disodium calcium EDTA. Congenital joint contractures in two or more areas of body is arthrogryposis. Congenital joint contractures. Which suturing is used for repairing of hernial ring? Overlapping mattress. Swelling of head and oculonasal discharge in poultry is characteristic of infectious coryza. The drug of choice of stored in dog is praziquantel. Diuretics which inhibit carbonic anhydrase is acetazolamide. Acetazolamide is diuretic which is used to inhibit carbonic anhydrase. Swelling of proximal end of third metacarpal is Bog spavin. Acetazolamide decreases the pH, so it increases the acidity, so it is contraindicated to give to the animals which have more acidic level. And acetazolamide is also used as to treat the spasms etc, as it has also effect on nervous system. Insulin is secreted by which cells of pancreas? Beta cells secretes insulin and alpha cells of pancreas secretes glucagon. Insulin and glucagon are antagonists to each other with respect to they both are used to maintain the glucose level in serum. The omentum is passed over which structure? Omentum is passed through stomach, which is used for measurement of population variation. Regression is used to measure the population variation. Regression is actually used to check the relationship of a variable and with other variables. A variable is fixed constant and other a parameter is fixed, and it is checked with other parameters which are not constant. So for example, we can check the effect of the relationship of brucellosis with the age of animal, with the sex of animal, with the area of the animal, that Faisalabad, Bhavalpur etc. So we will use regression analysis for this to check different parameters with brucellosis. So it measures the population variation. Which dye is used to branding for branding of carcass? Saffron and alkane. It is used to brand the carcass. Pashmina goat is Jamnapuri. It's Indian related question. Pashmina goat is Jamnapuri goat. The characteristic lesion of black quarter is hemorrhagic myositis and degenerative myopathy. The monster which has two face openings to each other is Geniceps. The sperm tail contains tubulin. Which test is used to determine age of bruise? Bilirubin test. Bilirubin test is used for the age determination of bruise, and bilirubin is the product of red blood cell breakdown. Red blood cell is breakdown into breakage of red blood cell leads to the release of hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is further degraded into heme and globin. Globin is a protein. Globin proteins again goes to the formation of hemoglobin, and the heme is further degraded into heme bilirubin and unconjugated bilirubin and iron. Iron is further used for the erythropoiesis, and the unconjugated bilirubin goes from the feces and the kidneys. So the brownish color of the feces is also due to this bilirubin, and the yellowish color of urine is also due to that bilirubin. So the color of feces and urine, the brownish and yellowish respectively, is due to the breakdown of red blood cells or that bilirubin. Number of chromosome in swamp buffalo is 48. Water buffalo chromosome number is 50. Garlic odor of necrosed tissue is in which poisoning is in phosphorus. Phosphorus poisoning gives the garlic odor to the necrosed tissue. FMD most virulent potent form is VP1. VP1 is the most potent FMD of FMD. Bovine farcy is caused by Nocardia farcinisa. Nocardia farcinisa is causes the bovine farcy disease. False gid is caused by Ostrus ovis. Ostrus ovis causes false gid. Edema in pig is caused by virotoxigenic E. coli. These are all the different types of E. coli. The enterotoxigenic E. coli, enterohepatic E. coli, enteropathogenic E. coli, and enterotoxigenic E. coli. Virotoxigenic E. coli, and the virotoxigenic E. coli causes the edema in pig. Non-leguminous fodder is gajraj. Other are all the leguminous fodders, and they are the cowpea, the berseem, and the lucerne, berseem, cowpea. They are all the leguminous fodder, and gajraj is the non-leguminous fodder. OIE, Office International Days Oppositis, or the International Organization of Animal Health, is its headquarters is in Paris. Elbow joint is which type of joint? Ginglymus. Ginglymus literally means the hinge. So elbow joint is a hinge joint. So in Latin we call it as the ginglymus joint. Enzootic symptom is a synonym is endemic. Enzootic or endemic is same term. And epidemic and pandemic. Pandemic means if a disease attacks throughout the world, all the many countries are affected with a disease, then it will be pandemic, as coronavirus is a pandemic disease. And epidemic means if a disease affects a particular area. For example, if a disease is affecting the Pakistan or any African country, then it will be epidemic. Or if that disease epidemic, we can say that coronavirus, when it was affecting only the China, then it was epidemic. And when its disease was spread throughout the world, then that epidemic coronavirus 19 becomes the pandemic. So as it is infecting whole of the world now. Which plant makes good quality of hay? Oats, or in Urdu it is called jai or oats. They makes the good quality hay. Do not confuse jai and javi. Jai is oats and javi or jo is barley. Jo is barley and jai is oats. Do not confuse oats with barley. Their names in Urdu are a little bit confusing at jo and jai. Diffuse placenta is in mare, cattle and ruminants has the cotyledonary placenta. Zebra marking present in which disease rinderpest has the zebra markings as pathological sign. Local anesthetic treatment affects the sodium ion transport. Metacircary is the larval stage of flukes. Cartwheel appearance is present in plasma cells. Dental caries occurs due to deficiency of iron. The iron is responsible for dental caries, and iron is also involved in erythropoiesis as the heme of the hemoglobin has iron molecular atom, and it is the part of it makes the red blood cells. There is also a type of anemia related with that is known as the iron deficiency anemia. Deficiency of iron also leads to the anemia and also leads to dental caries. Sigmoid flexure is found in it is present in all ruminants, and it is found in all ruminants, and it is absent in all non-ruminants. So the horse, donkey, etc., they do not have the sigmoid flexure. Humans also do not have the sigmoid flexure, and it is found in boar and ox. So we reduction in output of urine is known as oliguria. Oliguria means decrease in the output of urine. Which of the following enzymes are present in the acrosome of bovine sperm? Acrosine. After ovulation, which of the following is most important for the rapid movement of oocytes to the ampulla isthmic junction of the oviduct? Muscle contractions in the ampulla. Following artificial insemination in the cow, increased retrograde flow will occur if serum is placed in which of the following locations? Cervix. If the semen is placed in the cervix, there will be the increased retrograde flow. The concentration of sperm in ejaculate would be highest in ram. Which of the following are examples of maturation function in the epididymis? The development of the motility. The ATP produced by sperm does not go onwards. Which of the following transcription and translation? The ATP production by sperm does not go towards transcription and translation. If apoptosis of spermatogonia was prevented by inhibition of genes that promotes apoptosis, or if apoptosis of spermatogonia is prevented, then the blood-testis barrier would be destroyed. Failure of blood-testis barrier would directly prevent meiosis. Spherical bodies weighing 0.45 to 0.9 kg or approximately half to 1 kg attached to the placenta of normal calf, comprising of an outer skin enclosing a mass of adipose connective tissue, is known as amorphous globosus. Obturator paralysis is more common in cow. The relations of the dorsum of fetus to the quadrants of maternal pelvis is position. Sterno-abdominal presentation is transverse ventral presentation. Transverse ventral presentation is also known as the sterno-abdominal presentation. Ray neck is mostly seen in equine. Recommended phytotomy procedure in Persosmus elumbis is transverse division of the fetal neck. Pyrosomus elumbis is a congenital condition in which the spinal cord failed to develop at the abdominal region and the hind limb region. Hind limb region and the abdominal region have subdeveloped or underdeveloped spinal cord. So in this condition the animal is recommended to be the phytotomed by the transverse division of fetal trunk. Generally, stallion attains the puberty at the age of 1 to 2 years or 12 to 24 months. Sertoli cell tumor of testes is common in dogs and there will be increased secretion of estrogen. Dystrophilia adiposogenitalis is observed in dogs. Dystrophilia adiposogenitalis is observed in dogs, and dogs also has a common other congenital condition as the Sertoli cell tumor of the testes of dogs. So they have more increased estrogen levels in that infected dogs. Large number of primary sperm abnormalities are indicative of testicular degeneration. If there is testicular degeneration, then the common abnormality of sperm is the primary sperm abnormality. Smooth muscle around spermatic cord to help in thermoregulation of testes is cremaster muscle, and pampiniform plexus. Pampiniform plexus is a combination or the composite of veins and arteries, circulatory vessels that helps to thermoregulate or decrease the temperature of the testes to 2 to 4 degrees centigrade than that of the body temperature. So the muscle is the cremaster muscle and the vascular supply is the pampiniform plexus. So as they had asked about muscle, so it is the cremaster. Mitochondria concentrates close to the axoneme and forms the midpiece of the tail. Unnatural tactile stimulation and ejaculation is known as onanism. Onanism is unnatural tactile stimulation and ejaculation, a complete series of cellular association along a seminiferous tubule is spermatogenic wave. Spermatogenic wave is a complete series of cellular associations along a seminiferous tubule. Terminology used for a high percent of abnormal sperm is teratospermia. Teratology is the study of cancer or abnormalities. Zoospermia, zoo as cell, spermia means cell. So terato cancer or abnormality. So the study of the abnormal sperms will be the teratospermia. Inability to withdraw the penis back into prepuce is paraphimosis. Effect of novelty of stimulus. Female reduces refractory period in male is known as College effect. College effect is a biological phenomenon seen in animals whereby males exhibit renewed sexual interest or increased sexual interest whenever a new female is introduced to have sex with, even after cessation of sex with prior but still available sexual partners. To a lesser extent, the effect is also seen among females with regard to their mates or males. The College effect can be attributed to an increase in sexual responsiveness and shortening of sexual refractory period. The evolutionary benefit of this phenomenon is that a male can fertilize multiple females. The male may be reinvigorated repeatedly for successful insemination of multiple females. This type of mating system can be referred to as polygyny, where one male has multiple female mates, but each female only mates with one or few male. Vibriosis in a herd can best be diagnosed by vaginal mucus agglutination test. Induction of estrus by premature regression of corpus luteum can be done by using prostaglandin F2 alpha, available as cyclomate. Under which of the following conditions animal is acyclic? None of these conditions are acyclic conditions. They are all cyclic as delayed ovulation, silent heat, and anovulation. Time of ovulation in cow is 10 to 15 hours after the end of estrus or half day after the end of estrus. So in cow there is the AM/PM rule. Flehmen reaction is not observed in boar. The condition in which fetal bones crepitate within the uterus on rectal examination is maceration. The true bacterial venereal disease is campylobacteriosis. In mummification, even the bones are not detected as everything is absorbed, but in maceration, the bones are retained and it is observed. The true bacterial venereal disease is campylobacteriosis by Campylobacter fetalis. Endometrial cups secrete pregnant mare serum gonadotropin hormone during 14 to 120 days, means half to 4 months is the time in which endometrial cups secrete pregnant mare serum gonadotropin in horses, in which the abdominal palpation can be best performed for early pregnancy diagnosis during first month. During 1 month or 28 to 32 days is the time in which the abdominal palpation can be best performed for early pregnancy diagnosis, 28 to 32 days. Which of the following vulval suture has the least disadvantage for the retention of prepartum cervicovaginal prolapse? Bowner's suture. Bowner's vulvar suture technique has the least disadvantage for retention of prepartum cervicovaginal prolapse. Kuboni test is done to detect the presence of estrogen. Estrogen is detected by a Kuboni test. Defective fetal deglutition is thought to be one of the cause of hydroamniosis. Buller cow is representing the follicular cyst. The yellowish or whitish, thick, opaque uterine secretion nourishing the ovum and embryo is called uterine milk. Length of distress period of stress cycle in bovine is 30 days. 30 days is the length of distress period in cattle. Period of embryo in cattle is 13 to 45 days. It is the period when it is called as embryo, 30 to 45 days, half month to 1.5 month of gestation of after artificial insemination or after the sperm fertilizes the ova. Fremitus can be best felt earliest during pregnancy in cattle, 90 to 120 days, 3 to 4 months. Within the 3 to 4 months of the pregnancy, fremitus is best felt. Fremitus is the vessel, is the blood vessel palpation of that is supplied to the fetus, and the blood circulating through that vessel is easily detected, and it is the way of detecting the pregnancy. And this fremitus is optimally diagnosed or detected at 3rd to 4 month or 90 to 120 days. Causative organism for contagious equine metritis is Tailorella equigenitalis. Tailorella equigenitalis is the causative organism for contagious equine metritis. Abortion storm is characteristic sign of brucellosis. Brucellosis usually causes abortion once in an animal, but there are many reports that animal who has aborted by brucellosis has also aborted for another time, but these cases are less than that of the cases in which brucella only abort once, and at its second parturition the animal parturates normal, and there is no abortion at its second parity. The location of seminal vesicle in the bovine is caudal to bladder, around the neck of bladder, and brucella abort at 3rd trimester. It's also a point. The location of seminal vesicle in the bovine is caudal to bladder, around the neck of bladder. The urethral process is the penile characteristic in which of the following animals? Urethral process is the penile characteristic of ram. Spermatogenesis is under the control of follicular stimulating hormone. Follicular stimulating hormone stimulates the follicles and the sperms formation of sperms, and the follicles are under the control of FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Sperms in males and ova and follicles in females. Artificial insemination, in which was first tried by Spallanzani. Onanism in male animal is a vice which lead to none of above. Onanism has no effect on impotency, sterility, or infertility. Presence of giant cells in the semen is characteristic sign of testicular degeneration. Condom method of semen collected is used in stallion. In stallion we use the condom method of semen collection. The rough estimation of concentration of spermatozoa in the semen sample can be obtained by color and consistency. Color and consistency gives the rough estimation of the concentration of spermatozoa in the semen sample. Detached head is pertained as the secondary abnormality. Detached head is pertained as the secondary abnormality. The rate of extension of semen depends on none of above. It does not depend on the pH and volume of ejaculate. It does not depend on oxygen utilization test. It does not depend on abnormal sperm percentage. It depends on the percentage of normal sperms, percentage and concentration of the normal sperms. It is the point in which the rate of extension of semen depends. Cervical star is observed in placenta of mare. Placenta of mare has cervical star. Waxing is observed for parturition in mare around day 35 to 40th. Chorionic vesicle is oval in shape in mare. Mare has the oval chorionic vesicle at 35 to 40th day. Penicillin can be obtained from mold. Nicotinamide is most effective against tapeworms. Vancomycin is used to treat serious infection resistant to other drug. An advantage of amoxicillin over ampicillin is more rapidly absorbed. A drug used in treating second or third degree burns is mefenamide, a broad spectrum antibiotic effective against staphylococcus infection is henocycline. Which of the following antifungals also has amibicidal properties? Metronidazole, available as Flagyl. Flagyl is an antifungal which has amibicidal properties. Which of the following is mostly metabolized by liver? Barbital is metabolized by liver. Vancomycin is preferably administered IV. Pyridoxine is vitamin B6. Which of the following drug is used to treat fungal infestations of eye? Netamycin is used to treat fungal infections of eye. Vitamin K is associated with blood clotting. Which of the following is found in vitamin B12? Cobalt. Mostly diarrhea remedies contains choline or kaolin. Which of the following is not natural alkaloid? Apomorphine. Host which carries the infection with clinical signs is reservoir host. Vitamin A, which is antihemorrhagic. Vitamin K. Age at which FMD vaccine starts: 4th month. Respiratory rate in horses is 88 to 18 per minute. 8 to 18 per minute. Obvious sign of per acute cause of hemorrhagic septicemia is death. Corneal opacity in dogs is caused by Trypanosoma evensi. Bortreomycosis is caused by Staphylococcus aureus. Enterotoxemia in sheep is caused by Clostridium perfringens. Normal constituent of urine of cattle is urea. Deficiency of which vitamin causes rickets in poultry? Vitamin D. 10. And 11th is contagious glandular is caused by Pseudomonas millii. Which strain of FMD which is not present in India? SAT1 is not present in India. Branch of epidemiology deals with descriptive analysis of genetic effect on population is genetic epidemiology. Epidemic curve represents maximum and minimum distribution. Vaccination can be done for which neoplastic disease? Merrick's disease. Detection of floating organs in stomach can be done by ballotment. Which is the most suitable drug used for pneumonia in horses caused by anaerobic organisms? Metronidazole. Night blindness is caused by deficiency of vitamin A. Transmission of infection from layer to egg is known as vertical transmission. Scarlet fever is caused by streptococcus. Sugar odor in urine of cattle is due to ketosis. Goiter is due to deficiency of iodine. Which enzyme is decreased in thiamine deficiency? Its answer is in erythrocyte transketolase. Erythrocyte transketolase is enzyme which is decreased in thiamine deficiency. Which of the following is an arthropod borne disease? Ephemeral fever, bovine ephemeral fever or 3-day sickness. Eating of inanimate objects is known as pica. An oral antifungal agent is Decinex. Nitrofurantoin is most active when pH of urinary tract is less than 5.5. Aloes are used to treat burns. Which of the following can cause discoloration of teeth? Acromycin. Which of the following can increase the serum level of penicillin significantly? Probenecid can increase the serum level of penicillin. Radioactive decay follows a zero order rate. Glucagon may be used as diagnostic agent in radiographic examination of gastrointestinal tract. A drug that reverses plasma protein binding is often referred as protein hydrolysate. A rich source of vitamin A is fish liver oil. Plasma level of vitamin A may be significantly affected by oral contraceptives. Methotrexate should never be used concurrently with aspirin. An antidote of heparin overdose is trotamine sulfate. Weakly basic drugs are eliminated best under acidic urine. Weakly basic drugs are eliminated best under acidic urine. Oral hypoglycemics are usually mostly useful in uncomplicated diabetes. Which of the following may be used as plasma extender? Dextrans. Host which carries the infection with clinical signs is reservoir host. Vitamin A which is antihemorrhagic. Vitamin K. Age at which FMD vaccine starts? 4th month. Respiratory rate in horses is 88 to 18 per minute. 8 to 18 per minute. Obvious sign of per acute cause of hemorrhagic septicemia is death. Corneal opacity in dogs is caused by Trypanosoma evensi. Botryomycosis is caused by Staphylococcus aureus. Enterotoxemia in sheep is caused by Clostridium perfringens. Normal constituent of urine of cattle is urea. Deficiency of which vitamin causes rickets in poultry? Vitamin D. 10. And 11th is contagious glandular is caused by Pseudomonas millii. Which strain of FMD which is not present in India? SAT1 is not present in India. Branch of epidemiology deals with descriptive analysis of genetic effect on population is genetic epidemiology. Epidemic curve represents maximum and minimum distribution. Vaccination can be done for which neoplastic disease? Merrick's disease. Detection of floating organs in stomach can be done by. Detection of floating organs in stomach can be done by ballotment. Which is the most suitable drug used for pneumonia in horses caused by anaerobic organisms? Metronidazole. Night blindness is caused by deficiency of vitamin A. Transmission of infection from layer to egg is known as vertical transmission. Scarlet fever is caused by streptococcus. Sugar odor in urine of cattle is due to ketosis. Goiter is due to deficiency of iodine. Which enzyme is decreased in thiamine deficiency? Which enzyme is decreased in thiamine deficiency? Its answer is erythrocyte transketolase. Erythrocyte transketolase is enzyme which is decreased in thiamine deficiency. Which of the following is an arthropod borne disease? Ephemeral fever, bovine ephemeral fever or 3-day sickness. Eating of inanimate objects is known as pica. Which drug acts as proton pump inhibitor? Veterinary pharmacology and toxicology related MCQs. Which drug acts as proton pump inhibitor? Omeprazole. Drug of choice for chronic heart failure is digitoxin. Which of the following compound causes irreversible inhibition of ACH esterase OP compounds? Drug of choice for treatment of carbamate poisoning. Carbamate poisoning is treated with atropines only and not with PAM. Plant poisoning which causes deficiency of thiamine is Pteridium species, Pteridium. Plant toxin which causes cytotoxic anoxia and hemorrhage is Datura species, Datura. Datura species causes the cytotoxic anoxia and hemorrhages. Antibiotic which act as peptidase transferase enzyme is cephalosporin. Antibiotic which is not bacteriostatic is penicillin. During fever, concentration of which prostaglandin will increase due to release of interleukin 1 prostaglandin F2 alpha. Antibiotic which does not have mechanism of action either by inhibiting cell wall or protein synthesis is ciprofloxacin. Drug used in both bronchodilator and uterine relaxant is salbutamol. Sulfonamide causes which condition? Crystalluria, crystals in urine. And 13 is in dogs, sulfonamide is excreted through glucouronidation. Glucouronidation is the method by which in dogs sulfonamide is excreted. Antibiotics, which is contraindicated in young animals below 1 year age animal, is enrofloxacin. Which of the following drug causes nephrotoxicity? Streptomycin. Streptomycin causes the nephrotoxicity. An oral antifungal agent is Decinex. Nitrofurantoin is most active when pH of urinary tract is less than 5.5. Aloes are used to treat burns. Which of the following can cause discoloration of teeth? Acromycin. Which of the following can increase the serum level of penicillin significantly? Probenecid can increase the serum level of penicillin. Radioactive decay follows a zero order rate. Glucagon may be used as diagnostic agent in radiographic examination of gastrointestinal tract. A drug that reverses plasma protein binding is often referred as protein hydrolysate. A rich source of vitamin A is fish liver oil. Plasma level of vitamin A may be significantly affected by oral contraceptives. Methotrexate should never be used concurrently with aspirin. An antidote of heparin overdose is trotamine sulfate. Weakly basic drugs are eliminated best under acidic urine. Weakly basic drugs are eliminated best under acidic urine. Oral hypoglycemics are usually mostly useful in uncomplicated diabetes. Which of the following may be used as plasma extender? Dextrans. Penicillin can be obtained from mold. Niclosamide is most effective against tapeworms. Vancomycin is used to treat serious infection resistant to other drug. An advantage of amoxicillin over ampicillin is more rapidly absorbed. A drug used in treating second or third degree burns is mefenamide. A broad spectrum antibiotic effective against staphylococcus infection is henocycline. Which of the following antifungals also has amibicidal properties? Metronidazole, available as Flagyl. Flagyl is an antifungal which has amibicidal properties. Which of the following is mostly metabolized by liver? Barbital is metabolized by liver. Vancomycin is preferably administered IV. Pyridoxine is vitamin B6. Which of the following drug is used to treat fungal infestations of eye? Netamycin is used to treat fungal infections of eye. Vitamin K is associated with blood clotting. Which of the following is found in vitamin B12? Cobalt. Mostly diarrhea remedies contains choline or kaolin. Which of the following is not natural alkaloid? Apomorphine. Vibriosis in a herd can best be diagnosed by vaginal mucus agglutination test. Induction of estrus by premature regression of corpus luteum can be done by using prostaglandin F2 alpha, available as cyclomate. Under which of the following conditions animal is acyclic? None of these conditions are acyclic conditions. They are all are cyclic as delayed ovulation, silent heat, and anovulation. Time of ovulation in cow is 10 to 15 hours after the end of estrus, or half day after the end of estrus. So in cow there is the AM/PM rule. Flehmen reaction is not observed in boar. The condition in which fetal bones crepitate within the uterus on rectal examination is maceration. The true venereal disease is campylobacteriosis. In mummification, even the bones are not detected as everything is absorbed, but in maceration, the bones are retained and it is observed. The true bacterial venereal disease is campylobacteriosis by Campylobacter fetalis. Endometrial cups secrete pregnant mare serum gonadotropin hormone during 14 to 120 days, means half to 4 months is the time in which endometrial cups secrete pregnant mare serum gonadotropin in horses, in which the abdominal palpation can be best performed for early pregnancy diagnosis during first month. During 1 month or 28 to 32 days is the time in which the abdominal palpation can be best performed on early pregnancy diagnosis, 28 to 32 days. Which of the following vulval suture has the least disadvantage for the retention of prepartum cervicovaginal prolapse? Bowner's suture. Bowner's vulvar suture technique has the least disadvantage for retention of prepartum cervicovaginal prolapse. Koboni test is done to detect the presence of estrogen. Estrogen is detected by a Koboni test. Defective fetal deglutition is thought to be one of the cause of hydroamniosis. Buller cow is representing the follicular cyst. The yellowish or whitish, thick, opaque uterine secretion nourishing the ovum and embryo is called uterine milk. Length of distress period of stress cycle in bovine is 30 days. 30 days is the length of distress period in cattle. Period of embryo in cattle is 13 to 45 days. It is the period when it is called as embryo, 30 to 45 days, half month to 1.5 month of gestation of after artificial insemination or after the sperm fertilizes the ova. Fremitus can be best felt earliest during pregnancy in cattle, 90 to 120 days, 3 to 4 months. Within the 3 to 4 months of the pregnancy, fremitus is best felt. Fremitus is the vessel, is the blood vessel palpation of that is supplied to the fetus, and the blood circulating through that vessel is easily detected, and it is the way of detecting the pregnancy. And this fremitus is optimally diagnosed or detected at 3rd to 4 month or 90 to 120 days. Causative organism for contagious equine metritis is Tailorella equigenitalis. Tailorella equigenitalis is the causative organism for contagious equine metritis. Abortion storm is characteristic sign of brucellosis. Brucellosis usually causes abortion once in an animal, but there are many reports that animal who has aborted by brucellosis has also aborted for another time, but these cases are less than that of the cases in which brucella only abort once, and at its second parturition the animal parturates normal, and there is no abortion at its second parity. The location of seminal vesicle in the bovine is caudal to bladder, around the neck of bladder, and brucella abort at 3rd trimester. It's also a point. The location of seminal vesicle in the bovine is caudal to bladder, around the neck of bladder. The urethral process is the penile characteristic in which of the following animals? Urethral process is the penile characteristic of ram. Spermatogenesis is under the control of follicular stimulating hormone. Follicular stimulating hormone stimulates the follicles and the sperms. Formation of sperms and the follicles are under the control of FSH follicle stimulating hormone, sperms in males and ova and follicles in females. Artificial insemination in which was first tried by Spallanzani. Onanism in male animal is a vice which lead to none of above. Onanism has no effect on impotency, sterility, or infertility. Presence of giant cells in the semen is characteristic sign of testicular degeneration. Condom method of semen collected is used in stallion. In stallion we use the condom method of semen collection. The rough estimation of concentration of spermatozoa in the semen sample can be obtained by color and consistency. Color and consistency gives the rough estimation of the concentration of spermatozoa in the semen sample. Detached head is pertained as the secondary abnormality. Detached head is pertained as the secondary abnormality. The rate of extension of semen depends on none of above. It does not depend on the pH and volume of ejaculate. It does not depend on oxygen utilization test. It does not depend on abnormal sperm percentage. It depends on the percentage of normal sperms, percentage and concentration of the normal sperms. It is the point in which the rate of extension of semen depends. Cervical star is observed in placenta of mare. Placenta of mare has cervical star. Waxing is observed for parturition in mare around day 35 to 40th. Chorionic vesicle is oval in shape in mare. Mare has the oval chorionic vesicle at 35 to 40th day. Scent glands, source of pheromones, located dorsally and medially at the horns of buck. Sertoli cells produces the protein hormone which suppresses the production of FSH inhibin. Sertoli cells produces inhibin which suppresses FSH, spreading the adherent acrosomal granule over the surface of spermatid nucleus is cap phase. Infertility in bull due to inability to fertilize is testicular hypoplasia. The penile protrusion is followed by mounting. Required number of progressive motile sperms in AI in cattle is 10 millions. Presence of musculomembranous attachment on ventral aspect of glans penis to the preputial mucosa is penile frenulum. Eccentrically placed thickening of acrosome is known as noped spermatozoa. Flemin's reaction is not observed in boar. Bicornual transverse presentation is more common in mare. Both hind limbs are retained in the uterus beneath the body of the posteriorly presented fetus. Breech presentation. Breech presentation is the presentation in which both hind limbs retained in the uterus beneath the body of posteriorly presented fetus. Acute angulation of vertebral column of fetus causing dorsal approximation of its head and tail is schistosomus reflexus, the release of which hormone is associated with Ferguson reflex oxytocin. Penile transmissible neoplasia is observed in the dog. Androgen binding protein is secreted by Sertoli cells. Evasion of Galli capitalis and crater-shaped depression in the nucleus is diadem effect. Effecting a change in presentation is known as ovarian. Non-dilation of cervix causing dystocia in Eves is known as ringworm. Pattern assumed by sperm upon drying on glass slide is crenellation pattern. Test used to know the functional integrity of sperm membrane is hypoosmotic swelling test. The end of distress period is due to regression of corpus luteum in the mare, transition from non-breeding in the breeding season is caused by a decrease in melatonin. Granulosa cells are similar to Sertoli cells in that both have FSH receptors. The blood-testis barrier is due to the presence of tight junctions between Sertoli cells. It has been demonstrated that dogs can be trained to detect stress in cattle. Which of the following senses is being used by the dogs to accomplish this task? Smell. Dogs detect stress by smell. How much floor space is required per adult cow in milking byre? 80 to 85 feet square. Normal heat period of mare is 3 to 7 days. Which of the following is Mediterranean breed of fowl? White Leghorn. It is the world's number one egg producer. Leghorn. White Leghorn of Mediterranean is the world's number one egg producer. Male birds with removed testicles are known as capons. Capons. It is goat breed of dry western region of India. Surte. Which breed of goat is suitable for stall feeding? Burberry. A young female sow intended for breeding purposes is don't know. So means pig related question. The origin of which breed in Denmark? Danish red cattle is from Denmark. Induced ovulation occurs in all of above: camel, cat, and rabbit. Which of the following is not milch breed cattle? Dangi. No, National Institute of Research on Meat is in Hyderabad, India. Lucerne and Berseem are leguminous fodder. The state when animal becomes sexually mature is puberty. The total time taken by a hen from ovulation is 23 to 25 hours. Approximately 1 day is required for hen from ovulation. A teaser bull is maintained to detect heat. Which of the following is not milch breed? Mavery. Grit is used as food in poultry as a source of calcium carbonate. Breeds are to make the shell of the egg. Breeds are classified on the basis of area, productivity, conformation, and size. Breeding season of mare is autumn. Pork color is grayish pink. In which region found good quality milch breed, dual purpose breed, and draft breed? Northern Western area. Which buffalo breed have highest fat percentage? Bhadwari. Dressing percentage of broiler is 80 to 85%. It is not sure. Which is suitable for making chakka, cow milk? Crossing over takes place between non-sister chromatids. The type of cell division which take place only once in lifetime is called meiosis. Crossing over takes place in meiosis 1. Division of nucleus in indirect in fragmentation. Chromosome exhibit high level of coiling at which phase of karyokinesis? Metaphase. Terminal meiosis takes place in J and I. Which is amitosis? All of above. As direct nuclear division, the division of prokaryotes, and primitive type of cell division, they are the amitosis. Mutation in which one base is replaced by another base is termed as substitution. When one base is substituted with another base, it will be the substitution. Smallest segment of genetic material affected by mutation is muton. Sickle cell anemia is example of point mutation. Pleiotropic gene has multiple phenotypes. Which one is dominant in humans? Rh factor. Generally, sex-linked characters are recessive. Pairing of homologous chromosomes takes place in synapses. Theory of epigenesis was given by Wolff. Functional unit of gene is cistron. Most of mutations are germinal, harmful, and recessive. Sex chromosome in human male are XY. Fruit fly has 4 linkage gene. DNA structure was discovered by Watson and Crick. Double helix DNA model. Number of chromosomes in Drosophila are 8. Webbed neck is characteristic of XY. The term mutation was coined by Hugo de Vries. Polyploid with chromosome sets from different sources is allopolyploid. Allopolyploid is a polyploid with chromosome sets from different sources. Y chromosome is called sex chromosome. Act of mating in sheep is known as tupping. Act of parturition in cat is queening. Female cat is also known as queen. Which of the following has maximum chromosome number? Dog. Group of animals as clouder is cat. Group of animals known as clouder is cat. Castrated male of horse is known as gelding. Gestation period of horse is 336 days, 12 months, 12 days. Which of the following animal has maximum pulse rate? Dog has maximum pulse rate. Succulent fermented preserved green fodder is silage. Silage is succulent fermented preserved green fodder. Fore and hind feet of same side touch the ground in pacing. Sweat glands are absent in goat. Best breed of layer is Leghorn. Leghorn is used as layer. Among the semen, amount of semen produced by cock per ejaculate is 0.75 ml. Black Bengal goat is famous for meat production. Which river is richest freshwater fishes source in India? Ganga. Leguminous fodder are high in protein. Age of castration in cattle is 8 to 10 weeks or 2 to 3 months. Age of weaning in goat is 14 weeks. Age of sexual maturity in cattle is 2 to 3 years. Which of the following animal have foal heat? Mare. Duration of heat occurs in sow in hours is 48. 48 hours is the duration, or 2 days is the duration of heat in sow. Young male of a rabbit is known as bunny or bunny. Meat of buffalo is known as carabeef. Carabeef is the meat of buffalo. Which of the following is the non-ruminant animal? Pig is non-ruminant. World's largest donkey fair is held at Jaipur, India. Which animal has minimum chromosome number? Pig has the minimum chromosome number. Which of the following is nuclear pore? Octagonal. Nuclear pores are octagonal. Which Indian breed have longest lactation period? Gir has longest lactation period. Heaviest milk breed of India is Kankreej. Sahiwal Chal is characteristic of which breed? Savai Chal is the characteristic of Kankreej. Tritigal is an example of intergenomic cross. Tritigal is an example of intergenomic cross. Genome of tobacco mosaic virus are single-stranded RNA virus. F2 ratio of recessive epistasis is 9:3:4. In split gene coding sequence are exons. Enzyme used in genetic engineering is restriction endonuclease. Jumping gene are known as transposons. In which of the following parthenogenesis is most common in Turkey? The parthenogenesis is most common. AIDS is caused by a virus. Lamp brush chromosome are found in ovarian cells of amphibians. Chromosomes having equal arm are metacentric. Sum total of gene in population is gene pool. Chromosomes which do not have centromere are acentric. Which is tetrasomic condition? 2n plus 2 is tetrasomic condition. During the mitotic cell cycle, the largest phase is prophase. In Drosophila, AA plus X0 genotype will be male. Pairing of homologous chromosomes take place in synapses. Regulated unit of genetic engineering is operon. Phenotypic ratio of F2 generation in collaborative gene action is 9:3:1. The factor responsible for initiating cell division is karyoplasmic index. Which of the following is dwarf breed buffalo? Jirangi. Jirangi is the dwarf breed buffalo. Sickle shaped horn is characteristic of Surti. Progeny testing increases in generation. In which interval in generation? Sex to child is determined by male chromosome. Sex of child is determined by male chromosomes. The term cistern, racan, mutton were coined by Benzer. The principle of linkage was discovered by Batson and Punnett. One gene, one enzyme hypothesis is proposed by Biddle and Totem. Which enzyme break the reseal the one strand of DNA? Do not know which enzyme break and reseal the one strand of DNA. The central dogma of molecular biology involved DNA, RNA, protein. In human, sex chromosome complements XX and XY. Mutations are usually recessive. Linkage and crossing over are how related? Inversely. Linkage and crossing over are inversely related. DNA polymerase are required for DNA and from DNA. Crossing over occurs at which stranded stage? Two-stranded. Human females are homogametic and males are heterogametic. Gene mutation alter the information conveyed by a gene. When particular chromosome is present in 3 copies, the cell is triploid. Transfer of genetic information from DNA to messenger RNA is called transcription. Extranuclear genes are usually present in mitochondria and plastids. Autolytic function is shown by enzymes. Nature of genetic code is triplet. Transcription is formation of messenger RNA. Ribose is the sugar of RNA. Which of the following base replaces the thiamine in RNA? Uracil. Uracil replaces the thiamine in RNA. Chigo breed of goat produces Pashmina. Avivasta is new breed of sheep. Repeatability in the upper limit of heredity. Repeatability is the upper limit of heritability. Smallest part of a ruminant's stomach is a reticulum. Swine are in a class of animals which consume both plants and meat, known as omnivores. Humans are also omnivores. The critical stage of production in livestock when giving birth to their livestock is parturition. The secretion and production of milk in sheep, cattle, and swine is known as lactation. The first milk production after giving birth is known as colostrum, a disorder characterized by gas distension in rumen seen on animals' left side is commonly referred as bloat. The record of ancestors of particular animal is recorded in its pedigree. The amount of fat cover on market lamb is referred as finish. Feed that is provided to young lambs as extra ration and is fed in area that mature ifs cannot access is called as creep feed. The most important factor in formulating a ration for livestock is total digestible nutrients or TDN. The gestation time of sheep is 148 days. 3 2 the 6 3 3 the 9 3 4 the 12 3 5 are 15, approximately 5 months. Estrus in cattle usually occurs every 21 days. EPD stands for expected pregnancy progeny difference. Expected progeny difference. In swine, a male that has been castrated before reaching sexual maturity is called as barrow. The presence and distribution of fat in a cut of meat is described as marbling. The process of placing sperm in female reproductive tract by some other means than natural mating is known as artificial insemination. The process of preparing calves for the stress of being moved into feedlot is called preconditioning. The removal of all part of the tail from sheep is referred as docking, tail docking. The biggest problem of raising sheep is the loss caused by internal parasites. The most common parasite among beef cattle are flies. Breeds of cattle that are used for both milk and meat production are considered to be dual purpose breeds. A method of animal identification, that is puncture in skin of numbers or letters, is known as tattooing or tattoo. A beef animal that has extremely straight hind legs is best described as post-legged. What is the basic energy feed used in hog rations? Corn. Corn is the basic energy feed used in hog and poultry rations. The gestation time in swine is 114 days. Which is the most common and potentially serious complication following administration of antineoplastic drugs? Bone marrow depression. Which drug is prototype of nitrogen mustard group? Meclorethamine. Meclorethamine is the prototype of nitrogen mustard group. Dash was first nitrogen mustard to be used clinically for treatment of cancer. Meclorethamine was the first nitrogen mustard to be used clinically for treatment of cancer. Meclorethamine, which is the most widely used vinca alkaloid in veterinary medicine. Vincristine is the most widely used vinca alkaloid in veterinary medicine. Which drug is obtained from plant Canthus rosea? Vinca rosea. It is the vincristine. Which drug is used to treat certain cancers of the islets of Langerhans? Insulinoma. It's streptozotocin. Streptozotocin is used for the treatment of islets of Langerhans or insulinoma. Streptozotocin. Which drug is obtained from Streptomyces paucitius? Doxorubicin. Doxorubicin is obtained from Streptomyces paucitius. Meclorethamine is which type of antineoplastic drug? Alkylating agent. Alkylating agent is the meclorethamine, which is widely used as antineoplastic agent. Which of the following drug is cell cycle phase specific? Vincristine is the cell cycle phase specific antineoplastic drug. Which of the following drug is cell cycle phase non-specific? Chlorambucil. Chlorambucil is the cell cycle non-specific antineoplastic drug. What is used to determine the dosage of antineoplastic drugs? Body surface area is used to determine the dosage for antineoplastic drugs. Which of these is unique side effect of cyclophosphatamide? Hemorrhagic cystitis is a unique Side effect of cyclophosphamide. Dose of antineoplastic drug is expressed as meter scare. Meter scare is the dose of antineoplastic drug expression, which is the slowest acting and least toxic alkylating antineoplastic agent. Chlorambucil is the slowest acting and least toxic alkylating antineoplastic agent. From following which group of antineoplastic drug cannot cross blood-brain barrier? Nitrogen mustards are the neoplastic drugs that cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Which group of neoplastic agent is used in Hodgkin's disease? Nitrogen mustards are used in Hodgkin's disease. Which is the dose of vincristine? The dose of vincristine is 0.5 to 0.75 mg per meter square IV once daily. 0.5 to 0.75 per mg per meter square intravenously once for weekly is the dose of the dose of vincristine. From following groups, which is not a mitotic inhibitors? Aziridines are non-mitotic inhibitors, whereas the mitotic inhibitors are vinca alkaloids, taxanes, and apothiones. Which drug is obtained from Streptomyces verticillus? The drug obtained from Streptomyces verticillus is bleomycin. From the following antineoplastic drugs, which is pyrimidine analog? Pyrimidine analog antineoplastic drug is gemcitabine. Gemcitabine is the pyrimidine analog antineoplastic agent. The diploid number for sheep is 27. The diploid number of chromosomes in sheep is 27. The length of estrus cycle for sheep is 16 days. 21 days is in cattle, buffalo, and 16 days in sheep. Sperm cells are produced in the testicles. In a standard swine identification system, the individual pig number is put in what ear? In left ear. In a standard swine identification system, the individual pig number is put in left ear. The most commonly used method of classifying sheep is by wool type. Which classes of sheep are bred primarily for meat? Medium wool breeds are bred primarily for meat. Which judging term refers to the general structure and proportion of animal's body? Balance. The balance refers to the general structure and proportion of animal's body. Protein supplements are livestock feeds containing 20 or more percentage of protein. Livestock feeds that contain more than 18% of crude fiber when dry are called roughages. When trying to control worm infestation in livestock, which feed additive would be incorporated? Anthelmintics or dewormers. Anthelmintics are used to control worm infestation. Which protein nutrient is the most important on daily basis of livestock? Water. Water is the feed. Which feed nutrient is the most important on daily basis of livestock? Water. Number of animals that can be grazed in a pasture is referred to carrying capacity, which is not correct about livestock classification as mammals 3-chambered heart. Livestock has 4-chambered heart as they are mammals. The American Merino breed of sheep is classified as fine wool breed. American Merino breed of sheep. Wool prices are usually highest in late spring. What is the minimum recommended resting area for a market beef animal? 25 feet square is the minimum recommended resting area for market beef. Corn, silage, pasture, and hay are example of which type of feed? Roughages. Corn, silage, pasture, and hay are roughages. What maize raised on Minnesota farms is the most common concentrate in beef rations? Corn. What grain raised on Minnesota farms is the most common concentrate in beef rations? Corn is the most common concentrate in beef rations. At what age should a beef heifer be bred? At 15 to 18 months, beef heifer should be bred. Calcium and phosphorus are examples of which type of nutrients? Calcium and phosphorus are minerals. What is a beef animal that naturally lacks horns is called as polled? No horn in animal, it is the polled animal. What is the normal pulse rate for cattle? Is 60 to 70 per minute. Normal pulse rate of cattle is 60 to 70 per minute. Respiration rate is approximately 30 per minute. What is the normal respiration for cattle? 10 to 30 per minute. How much space should be provided for each eave? About 20 square feet should be provided for each eave. What should you wash your sheep with? With mild detergent. Wash the sheep with mild detergent. At what age do the down creeds reach sexual maturity? At 5 to 7 months of the age, the do the down creeds reach their sexual maturity? What sheep breed has all black head and legs? Suffolk has the black head and legs. How old before lambs begin to eat dry feed? 2 to 3 weeks of age. What are sheep cats? Ticks. Ticks there is a tick name as the sheep cats. How many years does the average eve remain productive? It's 5 to 6 years. For 5 to 6 years the eve remain productive.